Can anybody hear me out there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
Anybody get any snow?
Okay, hold on.
No.
No, not yet.
Okay. Can y'all see me?
Yes.
Good, good. We got a couple more minutes and we'll get started. I just want y'all to know, I don't have a dog in my room with me tonight, so you shouldn't hear any loud barking. Now my wife's here, she's in here, so she may bark, so she also may smack me like she just did.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Do you want me to unmute my mic, like mute it, since my kid's watching cartoons in the background?
Okay, let me cut your sound just a little bit. Mine's at 100%, so I can barely hear you. This sound is not working.
Is that better?
That's good. You got a helper?
Sir?
Seth, you got a helper tonight?
Yes, I do. You want me to mute myself so you don't hear my kids?
Well, you may want to talk about teacher empowerment. My picture here.
I don't know. Oh, hang on. Okay. Okay. Now this is working. I'm gonna put it right here.
I can't see everybody. I'm used to looking at folks' picture, but this program doesn't allow me to see everybody at the same time, except when you're speaking. So before I get started, let me find out how are things going so far in the semester? How's the work going at the syllabus with Dr. Sumner? Everything. This is a pretty easy semester compared to your start off semester with your learning component. But this is a pretty easy artifact to be doing. I'm going to break it down for you tonight and kind of give it to you in a nutshell as to exactly what you're going to be doing this semester. But it's basically you've only got 3 tasks to do. Your 4th task is basically competency, which I'll talk about at the end of class. What you just did in task 5 in your student learning, your AppSell. So. How's everybody doing? Anybody have any questions or any concerns before we get started?
I have a question. I've already completed all my artifacts, and I did the add-on licensure and decided to take 2 additional classes to get another master's. Do I need to sit in on this?
What I'm going to share tonight is an additional component that has to deal with Todd Whitaker, which is I'm just adding to this class. I think you'll find out. I'm talking about the components that he's put together over years of research about what makes a really, really good principal. So if you want to hang around for that piece, if not, you can just you can watch this in a review. But I'm going to talk about the APTEL, and that's basically going to be it. But I'm going to talk about Todd Whitaker's work on what makes good principals the best, and I'll be talking about that a little bit tonight. But as far as the work you've already done with your add-on, you don't have to see it on that part, but I think you're going to want to hear our studies on Todd Whitaker's work on his book, which he wrote, What Makes Great Principals Great. So, and I'll be talking about that during the whole semester.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody's breathing.
All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Somebody is breathing.
Can y'all see that?
Yes, sir.
I know you've never seen it before, so it's probably something brand new. That's supposed to be a joke. But I want to break it down for you. I'm going to take these 4 tasks and I'm going to break them up for you. And I'm going to probably, let's see here. Let me, okay. But I want to break it up for you and basically tell you what we're going to be doing this semester. And as I said, this is going to probably be your easiest semester you've ever had. So you're going to probably be breezing through this, but this is a very, very important component of your leadership, and that is building leaders in our school. Now, you've already got this. This is your template that you're already familiar with. I want to talk about your task 1. Now, in a nutshell, this is what y'all gonna be doing. Okay. Can y'all hear me? Okay. I'm getting some feedback. Okay. You're going to do a 3 to 5 page research study on how to empower your teachers. I'm going to walk you through that tonight. Your research study will be about 3 to 5 pages, and it'll be written in APA style, which I'll go over in just a few minutes. Now, folks, once you have done your studies and you have researched your best practices, then what you're going to do, you're going to put that aside and you're going to take a look, okay, now what are we doing in our school? You're going to take a look at what practices are you folks doing in your school that empowers teachers, okay? So on one side, you've got your 21st century best practices. On the other side, you've got your practices that you're doing in your school. Everybody with me so far? Now, once you've got those 2 components together, then you're going to take a look at what you should be doing with your best practice. In other words, if you've got, Whitaker says you should be doing this, you're doing something opposite, you're going to take a look at the gap. You're going to look at the gap between what you're doing and what research says we should be doing as far as teacher empowerment. All right? Then, once you have studied your school and your data, then you're going to come down and you're going to say, okay, how do we close this gap? Then that'll be the other part of this. You're going to take a look at, you're going to make a list of those practices, the best practices, and you're going to find out what you need to do in your school, how to make those practices happen in your own school. Then, once you've got that gap closed between best practices in your school, and you close that gap with a game plan, how you're going to put those practices together in your school, then you're going to do a presentation to your leadership team on what you should be doing at your school to meet 21st century best practices. And folks, that is your artifact 2. That is your teacher empowerment. That is your AppSell. You have your teacher empowerment component. And then your task 4 basically is doing those other components that you did not do in your competencies that you did in task 5 and your student learning component. That'll complete your whole task. Now, are there any questions on that?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes, sir.
That checklist, is it going to be differentiated for everybody because everybody's school is different, everybody's teacher
Exactly.
culture is different?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
That's what's going to make everybody different. You may be doing, say, we're already doing all the best practices. According to my research study, you're saying, we've already done, we're doing all these. Well, then they're great. Then your gap is going to be very small or none at all. You with me?
Right.
And then
Right.
you're
Thank you.
going to say, look, this is what we're doing. This is what we say we should be doing. This is what we're doing. So you're already on target with doing 20% of your practices.
Right.
So, but if you got a water gap, you're saying this is what Research Century says we should be doing, this is what we're actually doing, then you got to put a game plan together as to how you're going to meet those practices and empower your staff.
Okay. And even also too, we can put in, because you still have some resistant teachers, talk about attitudes and dispositions, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And you're going to run into that. And I want to prepare you for that because this is what you're going to run into when you become an assistant principal or principal. So is this Anthony?
Oh, this is William.
William. Okay. All right. I couldn't tell. Okay. I apologize. But,
Okay.
yeah, but folks, that's basically it. I'm going to scroll through this again. Now, don't forget, you do the copy and paste everything that you've got right here in your template. Come down here, and the first thing you can do is you can put your background of your school and community, just like you did in your task 1. Just copy and paste it right there. Then you've got your literature review. When you get to your lit review, these are the 5 things you're looking for. Okay, then you're going to put your checklist together as to what you need to do to meet those practices, and then you're going to put those together. You're going to put your list together. Then you're going to come together and see what you're actually doing, and then you're going to present your findings to your leadership team. And that's basically it. Now, let me get back to my other share screen.
Dr. Pickard,
Yes.
I have a question. When you say present the findings to the leadership team, you mean our site supervisor, administration?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
When you say that we will give a final presentation of our findings to the leadership team, does this mean administration, site supervisors?
This means anybody that's a stakeholder in your school that has to do with school leadership.
Okay,
This would also involve probably, hopefully, some of your teachers as well.
okay,
Okay?
yeah,
So that's basically it. You're going to do your research study. You're going to take a look at best practices. Then you need to go back and look at the data in your school about what you're already doing. You're going to compare your best practices with what you're doing. You're going to take a look and see where the gap is. Then you're going to put together a game plan as to how to close that gap. And then you can present your action plan to your school leadership team.
okay.
That's it. That's your task 2. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me play now. I'm going to
Dr. Pickard,
yes, ma'am.
I have a question. I notice you keep mentioning Todd Whitaker. Is our research supposed to focus on Todd Whitaker?
Can you hold off on that? I'm coming right to that.
Okay.
Okay? All right, can y'all see the screen? Can y'all see my PowerPoints?
No,
No?
no, sir.
Hold on a second. Okay, hold on a second. All right, can y'all see it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. That's where my wife stood in, and she got me straight. Always been upon those wives. Okay, now let's go back to your question. Well, let me. I'm getting ahead of myself. Y'all already know how to do APA format, right? Okay. Now, when you put together your lit review, you're going to look for quality authors, quality writers. Then you're going to be looking at APA format writing. Then you're going to have your average length of your study between 3 and 5 pages, and then you're going to put a bib at the end. Now, here's some of your writers I would recommend. Did you see it?
Yes.
Todd Whitaker, Linda Darling Hammond, Robert Marzano are the 3 that come to my mind when it comes to teacher empowerment studies. What is this doing? Okay, now I've given you a format for APA writing. You're already doing this, but I want to just give you a format as to how basically this gives it a rundown right here. Okay. Now I'm going to get into, now my time says I'm running short. Now that's not supposed to happen, but I'm going to get through this real quick. But I want to talk to you about Todd Whitaker's studies. Now, one of the things he talks about, the number one thing he talks about is people, not programs. Okay? He says there's only 2 ways to improve a school. Number 1, get better teachers. Or number 2, improve the teachers you already have. Now, if you look here and see this, you see I've got some programs. Back to basics, whole language, direct instruction. Anybody see anything there you recognize?
Response intervention.
Is there anything there anybody recognizes?
Mm-hmm.
I know you know RTI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Response intervention.
Have you ever heard of direct instruction?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of open classrooms?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
A story about open classrooms, okay? You have the teacher, the principal comes in one day to a program, to your staff meeting. He says, I've got a good news and bad news. Good news is we've got more students than we don't have, but the bad news is we don't have room for them. So he says, I need a volunteer to take a class and put it inside the old gym. It's a true story. So Mrs. Smith raised her hand. She said, I'll go to the gym. Well, the semester starts, they get more students, they have to have another class. So Mrs. Jones raised her hand. She said, okay, I'll take a class and put it in the gym. So you have 2 classes in the gym on either side, Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Jones, inside the gymnasium. You with me? Now, professionals come in and take a look at that school, and they say, well, the best teaching is happening inside the gym. So therefore, open classrooms must be the answer to quality instruction.
Okay.
Was it? No.
Who's the teacher?
What made the difference in quality instruction was the quality of the teachers. Ms. Smith and Ms. Jones was your number 1, number 2 teacher at your school. So they did a bang-up job in teaching, but somehow or another, the professionals thought it had to do with the open classroom concept. So therefore, they went to the open classroom. This is how the open classroom got started, with 2 quality teachers in the gymnasium. And the location had nothing to do with the quality of instruction. It had to do with the quality of the teacher. With me?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take another one. Anybody remember the assertive discipline where you put kids' names on the board and put checks beside it? Remember that? Okay. Well, here's another story. Mrs. Hamilton was one of the best teachers at the high school from Dr. Whitaker, that he was assistant principal. Now, he went to her classroom every day, and it was quality instruction. Respected the kids respected her. He had mastered classroom management. Okay? She never used assertive discipline. She didn't have to, because her instruction was so good and her teachers were good, she didn't have to use it. Now, on the other side of the hallway, Mr. Lewis. And he went there one day, Dr. Whitaker did, Mr. Lewis, and he's looks up and there's 12 names on the board. And there's a 3-foot-high check mark beside one name named Ricky. And he's hollering at him again. He said, you want another one? I'll give you another one. So the problem, folks, was not with was not with the program. The problem in that case wasn't Mrs. Hamilton. The problem in that case wasn't the discipline program. The problem in that case was Mr. Lewis. He was the issue. All right, are you beginning to see what I'm saying here, folks? You got to invest into your teachers. You got to invest into the quality of your instruction, and you've got to personalize your instruction. We all know how important it is that we monitor, that we understand that kids learn differently. You got to understand the same thing about your staff. All your staff is just as different as your kids. So when you put together your teacher development, you've got to do it in a manner that's specific to your needs of your staff. You with me? Okay. So that's what Dr. Whitaker has come about. He said basically, if you want to improve your school, you've got to improve your staff. That's basically it. And that's what it's all about. And that's basically, folks, that's it. That's Dr. Whitaker's point on how great principals, and one of the things they do differently is they improve their teachers by giving them the resources they need to do the quality of teaching, and then they train them and teach them, monitor them, counsel them, and they improve their teaching. If their teaching is not there, then they weed them out.
Right.
That's one of the very first things that Todd Whitaker talks about, okay? Talks about improving the quality of your teachers in your school. He says, doesn't it make sense if your whole school was based upon great teachers? Suppose you could go to your county and take every teacher here and put it in your school. What kind of school would you have?
Achieving.
A pretty good school, right? So that's what he's saying we have to do. That we have to improve the quality of our school by improving the quality of our instruction, by improving the quality of our teachers. And that's basically what he gave. That's the number one point, folks. And what Todd Whitaker says, great principals do differently. It's not about programs. It's about teachers. And let's see, they've given me 3 minutes here. And I've got one more thing I want to share with you. I want to give you an article, Leading Change from the Classroom, Teachers as Leaders. I would supplement this with your reading. And just go to Google and type in this title right here. And it's a great article about teacher leadership, and it breaks it down. What is teacher leadership? Why is it important? What is the things teacher leaders do? And it breaks it all down for you. So I would highly suggest that you find this article and add it to your reading component.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I've been in education 25 years, and what I've seen in all the schools I've taught at is congruity. Where there's congruity across the whole way the team, it seems like kids more buy in, and when there's positive, engagement going on. Would you agree when there's congruity going on?
That's exactly what Dr. Whitaker was trying to say. Is this communication, is where there's mutual respect among teachers and staff and teachers and students. But one thing I've preached this all along, folks, and I'm watching my time disappear on me. But one of the things I preached is basically a leader takes care of their teachers.
Right.
They give them the best tools they can. Okay. And then in return, when you've got a great relationship with your teachers and your staff, that's going to filter down into your classrooms. So once you've got high-performing teachers, you're going to have high-performing students. So doesn't that make sense?
Yes.
That's exactly what Dr. Whitaker was saying. So I want you to keep that in mind. I'm going to be talking about next week about you. Dr. Sumner will give me a few minutes to get in there. But I want to talk about how you take a look at yourself and your leadership style. Well, folks, we're right out of time here. But if you've got any questions, shoot me some emails. But I've enjoyed tonight. What wish I could do it more often, but you've got a handle on your teacher empowerment component. You know what you got to do. You've got an outline for your teacher research studies and their authors, and so I think you've got a handle on it. We're going to run out of time here. We're down to seconds here, but shoot me some emails if you got any questions, and if not, I will see everybody next week.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right.